So Tim and
our second process.
we have a few duplexes, and this one in Snellville has been our problem child for a few months now.
This one's also unique.
Unique. I mean, we have one tenant that's perfect. That's always on time, right? Cut the grass, maintain everything, and then on the other side is a tenant that has been kind of slow and
we inherit. When we purchased the property, we inherited both leases and both tenants, so to speak, right? Because again, we bought the property with the leases in place, and one great, no problem. Second one was getting slower and slower on the lease payment.
Usually Tim's very patient and he tries to work with them,
what are you doing?
Right. She would say that, I'm doing extra work on the side to help with the payment this month. Yeah. She was doing Uber. She was asking all kinds of stuff from Tim, saying, can I have it to Friday? Can I have another extension and stuff like that? And 4 months later...
So this one, we learned our lesson with the first property, and so we basically gave her 2 months. 1 month she was in default. The second month we immediately did file for paperwork. It goes pretty quickly, by the way. And in Georgia, when you file the paperwork, and to our, I guess, advantage, once you're served from the courts of the eviction, the tenant has 7 days to file an answer. And in both cases, the tenants filed their answer late. So technically, we won a default judgment on both. The problem was, in this instance, was there was kids involved, and we were very, Helen and I, we were talking a lot about what we need to do because it's a family. We don't want to displace a family.
Yeah.
So Helen, I think we gave her advice about maybe going to assistance, trying to find assistance because there's spousal support, or you don't want to be homeless on the streets. You have kids, you have schools. They're going to school. We don't want to interrupt their school in the middle of the process. And this one, we did end up winning the writ and the dispossessory pretty quickly. This was one also that we tried to do installments, like you said. She wanted to do Ubers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the drama really came after we won the eviction writ, because in the county that we had the property in, this one, the sheriffs are so behind. We couldn't get on the sheriff's calendar until I think they said June of next year. So it would have been a 8-month process that she could just basically squat.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is, again, we have a mortgage. We have to do something, and she just decided that she told me straight up, I'm not going to pay until you evict. Well, I'm not going to pay, and you can wait for the eviction and for the the sheriffs to come by my door.
Yeah.
Luckily, we were able to, from our standpoint, not so great for the tenant, but we were able to kind of expedite the process and get the sheriffs out there very quickly. But this is where it broke our hearts, because once the eviction company and the movers come, they basically put out all this stuff out on the street.
Yeah. And they just don't neatly put it. They throw everything out in the street. And I think I came about 2 hours after, and I just see the kids out there going through their things, their toys, and mom is just rummaging for whatever she could fit inside the car, and it breaks our heart to see that.
I mean, we were finding toys, we were finding awards for the kids. I mean, it
little
was
notes on the refrigerator, it's just, and I'm a mom, so I see that, and it's just like, Tim.
Yeah, what do we do? So, it concerned us a little bit because they started breaking into the windows. They wanted to go back inside the property, so then we had to get someone to secure the property. Yeah. And then Helen and I had the bright idea that we would save money by cleaning.
We said we can do this.
We can do this.
It doesn't look that bad.
Yeah.
We can 2 hours. What tops?
Because it's a 2-bedroom. The eviction company, what they do is they leave all their stuff in one area. So it's just dumped, but it's still in one area. So we're looking at it. We're like, we can do this.
We got this.
We got this. And if I don't know if you know, but Home Depot sells these Baxters.
Yeah, these green bags. Basically, if you're doing home renovations or anything, you buy these bags and then you put it on your driveway, and whatever you fit in there, you're able to throw it in there, and then you can hire the company to come back out and just pick up that ginormous bag. So we're like, oh, you know,
fluffy, yeah. So
DIY, we can do this.
No problem. And so we had another friend, we had someone else to help us. So 3 of us were like 2 hours, max 2 hours. So we're starting to move all the stuff to the Baxters, and then we quickly realized that we ran out of space with one. So we got 2 more bags. So we had 3 bags lined up, and I think it was more like 3 hours later.
4 hours later.
Well, 3.5 hours later, we were just like exhausted. We find more and more trash.
More and more trash in the bag. We found appliances that we didn't know existed back behind the trees and everything. So we're just dragging trash everywhere.
And by the way, you can't just throw away appliances. You actually have to get permits. You have to do all these different things. And then we finally get into the property, and it's trashed. I mean, they had pets that we weren't aware of that we inherited. There was, I started getting rashes. We were wearing masks, but the masks were getting so dark. Just cleaning up the property. The cleaners wouldn't come unless we kind of did the pre-clean a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, you're thinking it's about 4 hours later. I think we were just like, okay, I think we're done. To the best of our ability, anyway.
Yes.
And then the next day, I went back and
someone went through our Baxter trash bags, digging for stuff. So now our trash is all over the lawn again.
Everywhere. That was a lot of fun. And then because we had to move everything back into the trash cans. And by that point, we realized we just need a junk company. We couldn't do it ourselves. There was more and more trash and junk coming out of the properties, and we hired a junk removal company. It's actually very convenient, for us anyway, for them too, because we had kind of put everything in the 3 bags. We're like, hey, just come pick up the 3 bags. There's a little bit more trash everywhere else, so they filled the whole full put a truck in. They had a whole truck, got in. And by the way, the lawn also hasn't been mowed in, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 months.
The grass was as tall as me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the eviction company was like, hey, how do we know which side to evict? And we're like, you'll know exactly which side to evict, because one side is very well maintained, the other one is not. So, it's an ongoing saga. We did our cleaning. We did as best as we can. We got the lawn done. We got contractors in there, cleaning up everything and making it all nice for our next tenant. And the smell's gone. Thankfully, I was by today. The smell's gone, and the mowing. Poor mower, our poor lawn guy took him 3 days because it was just so tall that he was running out of the lawn bags. So he kept going by. I mean, you can imagine how tall the grass was. And now, so word of advice if you're a landlord or a property management company, to third party that out. Again, we looked at it, we're like, we got this. Worse is, that was a back-breaking lesson learned. A lot of time.
Just hired the professional to do it.
It was a lot of work. So,
So from a landlord perspective, what could we have done differently to prevent this, to prevent all of this drama? I mean, shit happens, right? Things are gonna come up, tenants are gonna default on their payments, but what can we do as landlords?
Yeah, so as landlords or property manager, whoever you hire, it's very important that you do have open communication with your tenant. Like, again, we do have other tenants that were behind. That when they lost their job, but because we had open communication, they were paying weekly, or they were still making the full month payment. So it's that dialogue that we have to have very closely, and to make sure do the periodic checks and stuff like that. Depending on where the property is and the type of clients that you have, you can't do anything about it. But you do want to make sure that you have. I think the best thing is the open communication, right?
Yeah.
we were and quickly act if there is an issue.
Yes.
Because the my first tenant that defaulted, I let it go for so long, it became even longer.
Yeah.
But I think the other one, because we acted so quickly, we were able to kind of minimize the losses as much as we can. This one, again, because we had inherited the leases, we didn't do the tenant screening, we didn't do any of that. We didn't know that there was pets on the property until, because every time we did a check, pets are conveniently gone, right? So there's something that, there's a lot of stuff that we can't control that's out of our control. But at the end of the day, that dialogue, I think, is the most important.
Would you say just go ahead and notify the court after 1 month of default?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, it depends, right? So if you have the financial wherewithal to kind of help your tenant, right? I think that's a different story. But because we have mortgages and we have HOAs and we have, we were worried that we were going to get cited from the city, because it was just getting so unruly.
Yeah.
The grass was getting unruly, and we can't. By the way, we can't do anything about it, right? Because again, there's tenants, right? So we can't. It's not like we can go in and spruce it up or do repairs.
Yeah.
So it is a tough situation, but we've learned our lesson. We are, if you are default, if you're behind 1 month, unless you give us some, good faith, something of good faith, right? Something that we can work with. I think it's wise as landlords or property managers to file that the dispossessory action and see what happens, right? Because again, what I have found is that when you do go to court, the judge makes you go into they make you go in front, they want you to talk. So it's not like you can just go in front of the judge and be like, hey, they defaulted or they're behind on rent, I need to evict them. The judge actually says, no, you guys need to talk. You guys need to see if there's a way to work it out. And then if you can work it out, then come back. If you cannot work, then come back to me. If you can, you guys have figured it out. That's how we knew about she was going to do Uber Eats. She was going to sign, kind of do all these side stuff. But that, that's also, but, we gave her a very tight window. We said, hey, you have to follow by, X amount of dollars by Friday, then Monday. Like we were trying to put her on a tight schedule. And the minute you default against that agreement, then you can go straight back to court and say, hey, no, she or the tenant did not follow by the rules. And quickly, we got the rid very quickly. Tough situation all around for landlords and tenants. It's not an easy. I think it was. I think one of the things that really opened our eyes was that it's a lot more heartbreaking than you think. Right? It's not as easy. I wish we were cold-hearted, these machines and saying, hey, let's evict everyone. But no, it was...
There are kids involved, especially. It's heartbreaking, and it was a difficult thing to do for us, for sure. Yeah,
I mean, I found little plaques, and I was taking the plaques out, and I ended up calling the tenants and be like, hey, do you want these? Like, these look very important. And so we try to do what we can. So... Yeah.
Anyway. If you have questions, let us know. Cheers.
Cheers.